All right, everyone, we are back at it. Tonight, we finally have a dry night. The last 2 nights have been pretty much rainouts. It's been very wet and cold, but it's warmer tonight, feels pretty ideal, and it's still cloudy and humid, so hopefully the snakes will agree. So I think this is the same gopher snake we saw earlier in the trip on the same rock cut. He's just, I guess, making his way around. It's just such a weird snake to see plastered to the gut like that. All right, Steven has spotted our next snake, a little blacktail. Really pretty little blacktail. His neck pattern is gorgeous. Very contrasty little guy, last year's baby. This might be the sharpest looking blacktail of the trip. He is really, really contrasty. And as you can see, he is very aware we are here and willing to ruin our day. So we're just gonna leave him to it. Beautiful little snake. I think these guys have solidified their position as the most common snake of the trip. And I'm guessing this probably won't be the last we see, so we're gonna get back to it. All right, blacktail number 2 for the night. Really got a nice pancake position up on the cut here. Very dark, look at that. Yeah, the traffic tonight's pretty rough. Me and Steven are having a hard time communicating on opposite sides of the road, but very busy pattern on this guy. This guy's an ambush. Just kind of sitting here waiting for a mouse to run by, and there are a lot of mice out tonight, so we want to make sure he maintains that coil and hopefully scores a meal. Nice looking snake, number 2 for the night. And a big centipede. Always like to see these. Very, very pretty bug. Not something I want to touch though. I'm not a centipede picker-upper. All right, 4th snake of the night is a night snake that Steven has just spotted, rummaging around in the gravel here. Honestly, not a super night snake heavy trip so far. We've seen a few of them, but they have been pretty far from the most common snake. I'm being chased by a night snake presently. This moth just flying into my boot. All right, we'll leave that guy to it. All right, en route to another spot, and there's a blacktail on the road. Very, very pretty little blacktail too. These things have just been everywhere. Ridiculous how we've seen more of these than Aatrox. I mean, just passively, you'd think we'd see Aatrox driving around in between spots, even if we're not in a super Aatroxy area, but these guys have just been the dominant snake. And as always, just a gorgeous little snake. I'd say this one is also a little bit above average. Really, really pretty. And very chill. Not even a really much of a rattle from these guys most of the time. They just sit there and tongue flick. And very, very seldom do you ever really see them strike. So we'll just get him out of the road and continue on to our next cut. This guy's right in front of a cut, but it's not where we were headed. All right, stay out of the road, dude. All right, just move that blacktail to safety over there. And right here is yet another one of the same size and ambush. That's the 4th blacktail of the night already, and it's not even 11 o'clock. There's another one right there! What? What is happening? This is so stupid. I didn't even see that one at first. This is truly ridiculous. Like, I can't believe I didn't see that one. I saw that one. I guess he's a little bit more poorly camouflaged than that guy. He just looks like a rock sitting there. That is so cool. Triple blacktail stop. And they're all the same size. That one's a little bit smaller than the other two, but they're all dinky little guys. Really, really cool. We'll leave them to it. All right, everyone, this next area we moved to, I don't know if you guys can hear the river roaring behind us, but there's not supposed to be water here. I mean, there was just a ridiculous amount of rain here today. So this is probably where we're gonna end up tomorrow night. But we're gonna burn it a little bit tonight and see if we can pop a milk snake or something. But it's really, really wet here. Nice and warm still though, so hopefully something will be out. We will see. Oh man, look at this guy. Oh man, he's huge. Giant Texas toad. Not something we've seen yet this trip. Not much is better than a comically large toad. No matter where you go in the world, one of the highest quality finds you can have is just a goofy big toad. And that's no exception here in West Texas. Look at that guy. Sorry, Steven. What's the first snake of the night going to be with your dirty, cracked windshield and frame?
Atrox.
It's going to be a suboc. All right, I literally just stepped out of the car and there's a lepidus right there. Well, hopefully that bodes well for the night. Like I said, just instantly the second I stepped out of the car to shine the cut, I didn't even walk left or right, just straight to the cut, and there was a lep. This is a new cut for both me and Steven to see a lepidus on. Steven's seen an alterna here, but no lep. Very crazy.
I've seen all three species of lamp here.
Very, very nice. Pink guy, yet again. Maybe the pinkest one on the trip. All right, I'm going to photograph this guy real quick, and then we'll get to shining, because this is a pretty good omen for the night, hopefully. We'll see what else we can get into. Last night of the trip, we're going to go hard and really try to get an alterna. Well, there's not many better ways to start the night than with a fantastic pink rock rattlesnake in a new locality. A little bit subtle on the pink, but it's still very, very, very cool looking. Just a beautiful little snake, as always. And other than alterna and milk snakes, this is probably one of my favorite species to find at new localities like this. So major win to start the night. I'll just let this guy go, and we'll get back to shining. We got our trusty lep tweezers. We'll just scoop this little guy back up. Put him up here on the rocks. There you go, dude. Stay out of the road. We'll probably see him a few more times throughout the night. Look at this dude. What you doing, dude? What is it that you were trying to accomplish by clambering up this rock face? This is a red-spotted toad. Probably, there's a cricket right there, probably the most omnipresent amphibian here in West Texas. But truthfully, it's been a pretty slow amphibian trip. We haven't seen many of these guys or really any other amphibians. We've seen a few, just not what I would expect for how wet it's been. Oh, very nice. This guy's getting swarmed by bugs from my light, so we'll just, we'll leave him to it. Hopefully he will catch a few of these guys and eat them. I really don't know why this guy's clambering up the rock cut, but I don't think anybody knows why red-spotted toads do what they do. All right, we just found a nice checkered garter snake with a stub tail in the road. Look at that. Only the second one we've seen this trip. These are really handsome garter snakes, but they're just so omnipresent some nights out here in West Texas that... And also, they're one of the stinkiest snakes in the country, so that's why you're not going to see me pick this guy up unless I have to. But look at that little stub tail. Something got his tail. It seems like garter snake tails are super prone to popping off, almost like a lizard. Not quite like a lizard, but compared to other snakes, they tend to lose them quite easily. We'll just let that guy scoot off the road so I don't have to get any more checkered garter snake musk. And we'll continue on. He looks so goofy. Incomplete snake. Bruh. There's a ringneck excavating a hole right here. What on earth? Second ringneck of the trip. Holy crap, that's so cool. Alright, I am curious what this guy's digging for, but also, I don't know how much of him's down that hole.
Just barely underground.
Oh my god. That's so sick. Well, we're in him tonight. We're gonna keep at it. I'll photograph this guy, and we'll continue on. I'm being swarmed by bugs in an unprecedented way right now.
Bastard.
Dude, Steven just spotted an orange guy hanging out on the cut. Look at that. That's nuts. That is kind of ridiculous. He's so orange. What a stop. Ringneck and suboc. This little guy is so orange, but the bugs are just crazy right now. So I'm going to get some quick photos and we're going to keep moving. This is some of the worst buggage I've ever experienced out here. Just like giant bugs, little stinging bugs, all manner of bugs flying into me constantly when I have my light on. Get some quick pics and we'll move on. But it's been very snaky and lots of good snakes so far with a lep, a suboc, and a ringneck. All right, it took a while, but here's our first blacktail of the night. This guy's kind of faded looking. Definitely an interesting and kind of different look. He is not happy about all those cars going by, so we're going to give him his space. But very, very nice looking snake. And the first blacktail of the night, kind of surprisingly, considering how common these guys have been. All right, that just happened. This one looks, it's got a solid black head. It's just a little bit different from, almost looks like an annulata, but I mean, we're deep within Selenops tweaker range, apparently. That is such a unique looking milk snake. Look at the head on that thing. I'm not sure I've ever seen one out here with such a black face like that. That is incredible. We're doing it tonight. Great last night of the trip so far, and it's still relatively early, so we're gonna be quick with this guy, get some photos, and move on. Holy crap. So usually the milks in this area tend to have a lot more white or red on their head than this one. I mean, this is an atypically dark-headed milk snake for anywhere in West Texas. Very, very cool. Maybe in the Permian Basin you get some more dark-headed snakes like this north of here, but for the Trans-Pecos, that is an unusual milk snake, but beautiful. Very, very cool looking. Super, super cool to get to see one of these this trip. It's just so nice. And it's huge too. I mean, look at this. It's like a maybe over 2 foot of milk snake right there. Fantastic. Let's keep it moving and see if we can get an alternate too. That is unbelievable. Well, that's kind of ridiculous. This night snake we just found is almost as big as the milk snake we just found. Holy crap. He's megacephalic. That's an honorary liar snake. Holy crap. What a beefcake.
Oh.
All right, here's Steven demonstrating the size of this absolute unit night snake. These guys are normally like less than a foot long, and this guy isn't that much longer than a foot, but he's just so girthy. And his head is just massive. Like, what do you need all that head space for if you're not highly venomous? What's going on there? That's probably not a night snake you want to have latch onto your finger, if I had to guess. These guys are rear-fanged venomous and considered harmless, but I mean, at this size, you'd probably at the very least swell up a little bit. We'll let him go. It's been an awesome night so far, and it's still relatively early.
That's absurd.
Very. All right, big dude, we'll leave you to it. What an impressive beast of a night snake. I love seeing just exemplary examples of common species like this. So cool. And very dark, too. I mean, his back half hardly has any pattern on it. All right, so here's the situation. It's 11:30, and we're having a great night so far. No alternate yet. Problem is we have to get up at like 6:45 and leave around 7:30 tomorrow to make it to the airport in time to catch my flight. So realistically, we only have maybe another hour and a half or 2 hours of hunting before we should think about wrapping it up and getting some sleep, because unfortunately we have to drive 3.5 hours to the airport due to just how remote this part of West Texas is. Well, that's a pretty fitting last snake of the trip. The suspiciously absent western diamondback rattlesnake on our way back to town. This guy's got a nice kind of yellowish tint to his tail too. Look at that. Handsome snake. We'll get him out of the road. That'll probably be the last snake of the trip. I lied. We got another one. Look at this little guy. A young of year baby Atrox, the only one we saw this trip somehow. I guess we were a little early for this year's baby rattlesnakes because we saw the one baby Mojave, and then other than that, this has been the only baby rattlesnake we've seen. Very cute though. We'll get him out of the road. Maybe we'll see another one before we get back. Who knows? Man, we just can't stop finding snakes. Here's a little fresh baby Great Plains rat snake, our first non-rattlesnake baby snake of the trip. This guy's adorable and really pretty too. We'll get them out of the road. Haven't seen too many emery, maybe 2 or 3 on this trip. They're usually a lot more common than they have been lately. All right, everyone. Unfortunately, I think that is going to be it for our time in West Texas this year. There may be more videos coming, but this is my last night of the trip, so tomorrow I will be flying back home to Georgia for the rest of the fall, which hopefully it will be an exciting fall back home. Fall is one of the best times of year basically anywhere for snakes, so I'm really looking forward to seeing what we can turn up, but I am always very sad to leave West Texas. It's just so much fun. Such a beautiful place with so much incredible snake diversity. So on that note, I think I am going to wrap this up here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully y'all have enjoyed the Texas videos this year, and I will see you all next time.